Okay, so I'm going to do my best to explain what's going on with sovereign citizens. Why am I trying to explain sovereign citizens? Because not only have I been labeled as a sovereign citizen, but others as well have been grouped not only as a sovereign citizen, but now sovereign citizens, what's defined as a sovereign citizen is being defined as a terrorist. So there's a few things we're going to look at today. The first thing we're going to start with is this video.
The Call 6 investigators spent the last 2 years following the growing number of people calling themselves sovereign citizens. Some don't believe in government authority, others carry badges claiming to be diplomats. Now, Call 6 investigator Rafael Sanchez has more on how people in the movement are branching out, catching innocent people in the middle. Rafael.
Todd, good evening. We dug through state and federal records and uncovered people going to the extremes to prove that they have special rights, rights not recognized in any of the 50 states, rights that has law enforcement on alert. Joseph Satterfield is taking steps to fix a home he envisions being his prized possession.
Pretty much had to just rip the whole house apart from the basement to the attic.
The house had been vacant for months until the Satterfields bought it from TMNJ Youth Foundation. But days before paying off the property, the Satterfields were stunned to learn TMNJ did not own the home or have any right to sell it.
You had no idea. You were just going about your business, working on this house, making your payments, and then bam.
Nothing.
Right.
Squat.
The real owner? The city of Indianapolis. Meet Sheila Amos, the woman who runs TMNJ and a self-proclaimed sovereign citizen. She's part of a movement in which some members believe they're entitled to create their own deeds and take over vacant properties. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office says Amos and notary Beverly Kennedy then tried to sell the homes, misleading dozens of families.
We officially found out we are squatters.
What does that mean when you say you're squatters?
We are
Illegally here, basically.
This is not our home. We're not supposed to be here.
Amos is in jail and declined to talk to the Call 6 investigators. We caught up with Kennedy after a court appearance on the criminal charges. Are you a sovereign citizen, or was this a mistake from the state?
Just talk to my attorney.
The Southern Poverty Law Center, which tracks what it calls extremist groups, estimates there are 300,000 sovereigns nationwide. Many of them, as we've seen in Indiana, also create their own license plates and IDs with badges and believe they're exempt from taxes, traffic tickets, and mortgages.
That is why they are considered by federal, state, and local authorities as potential terrorists, and we deal with them as such.
That's why the Joint Terrorism Task Force in Indianapolis investigates sovereign activity.
In an era of post 9/11, you can never be too careful when someone who openly recognizes no authority above their own is acting and behaving and conducting themselves in these ways.
So, okay. Oh, geez, this is a lot to break down, guys. This is a lot. Okay. So what we have here, and I'll try and do a visual video. If you guys want a more of a visual to understand and follow, I try and make things as the layman's terms as possible because everyone doesn't understand the big words. Everyone can't follow along with all of the trickery and the wordplay and all of that. So what this guy in front of us is doing is called wordplay. If you check out one of my previous videos called What They're Hiding in the Books, you'll see exactly what I mean. It's a book called Race Code War. You need to check that out before you understand or watch anything concerning sovereign citizens. So the claim that's being made is that they do not recognize any authority. You don't have to recognize any authority. That is a fact. What they mean by authority is you don't recognize them as being above you, as being superior. Them meaning Caucasians. Because who is in the Just Us system? 95% of the justice system is Caucasian. 95% of the medical system are Caucasian, or at least that owns the buildings and things of that nature. The buildings or the corporations that create the equipment for the hospitals. The education, the buildings for the where education is given, the books that are given out, they own. I have a previous video on that as well. Go check that one out. So when they say they do not recognize authority, that means that you do not recognize the Caucasians as being superior to you. That's all that means. They say that you also challenge validity of state and national laws. We have a right to challenge it. Not only do we have a right to challenge it, we have a right to question it. What they want is Jim Crow laws. How do you think Jim Crow laws were able to be implemented? Who gave that right? Who gave the right to sign away slaves or emancipate slaves? Who were the ones writing? Who were the ones in office? Who were the ones creating these documents? Who were the ones creating this government? It were Caucasians. Look at this man's face. He looks stupid in the face. Look at his little... Come on, man. Come on. You guys have got to wake up and see the truth. They say you may say they have no authority. You have no one has authority if you don't give it to them. You have to give it to them. That's what they're mad about. Another claim is they say you sovereign citizens say that they're not within their jurisdiction. Well, see, you got to understand the jurisdiction from the beginning to the end. The word jurisdiction, where it started, where it is right now. The words themselves are a play on everything, or a play on reality. So if you go look up Webster's Dictionary jurisdiction, it's going to give you one definition. If you go to Black's Law's Dictionary, it's going to give you another definition. If you look up jurisdiction, another claim is that sovereign citizens use Black's Law Dictionary. Why do they have a legal dictionary? Did the sovereign citizens make that up too? Does anyone that stand on their rights make that up? So if we don't have any rights, or if everyone is labeled as something or grouped as something, as a movement or something, and not just individually people understanding things, why it can't be that? Because Caucasians has always had to group something to define it, to get rid of it. So they can sell it to get rid of it. The Black Panther movement. Any type of extremists. They always have some type of name or group, a way to group you into something, into a name, so that they can attack it. Sorry guys, I'm just looking over some of my notes here. Just they said that they were estimated about 300,000 people understanding and doing this. That's why they say it's a threat to the government. A threat to the government is anyone questioning them. That's a threat to them. Anyone questioning what they're doing, who they are, why they are not abiding by their rules and regulations, and why when people are calling it out, they're getting all types of things happening to them. Sovereign citizens supposedly believe that the government is corrupt. Well, I mean, if anybody's ever thought the government is corrupt, I guess that means you're a sovereign citizen. I don't know how many of these how many points you have to get to be a sovereign citizen, but apparently they have their own little thing, so we got to make our own little thing. They believe that sovereign citizens are constitutional, religious, and believe that only law is God's law. I mean, so now we can't believe that God's law is the number one law. So now what are they saying, that there's no, like, I don't know what is going on, but you guys are watching it with me. We're watching it together. So they're saying that we really hate the government. I mean, let's put out some of their facts. We don't hate the government. We hate the people that kill people through the name of the government. Through the name of government. Let's just say that. So, yeah, I'll leave the link to this original video. But what I wanted to do is, let me go here. Let me do this. So, let's just take a look. Let's scroll. What you'll notice is a pattern. There are only Caucasians that are attempting to debunk what they believe are sovereign citizens, which is essentially people that are understanding their rights or standing on their rights. There are things called human rights. Not that you need them, but that's just a source that you could utilize to say that, hey, this is what you guys even said. But again, if you want to understand this more in depth, this is what my courses are about. Helping people not be like the people in the first video. Now, this guy here, Van Balian, whatever. Of course, it's a Caucasian that goes around to Moors or anyone of melanin and tries to debunk their rights. They never come with facts. The only thing they have is, that's bullshit. That's a whole bunch of bullshit. It's not true. But they never prove what you're saying is not true. They never prove that what they are saying is true. Even the title says, lawyer destroys 3 Moorish sovereign citizens. I watched this video. I would suggest you go and take a quick look at it. Don't watch the whole thing. Because, of course, he's attempting to be degrading with non-facts. He's saying that the United States is not a corporation, or that maybe we can't prove it. But what he is doing is, he's not showing the Moorish guys information that they're asking him to. He's continuously putting his face up front and center. He's not stating any facts. And I challenge him at any point in time to come and have that same conversation with me. At any point in time. So I assume they do what I did and put in sovereign citizens and just go trying to see what they can find. All of these are attempts to be degrading.
Video is being brought to you by Star and Shield Group, dedicated to the public safety community and their families. What you need to know about the sovereign citizen movement.
I'm Sadie Darnell, Sheriff of Alachua County. This video is being produced by the Florida Sheriff's Association and the U.S. Attorney's Office to raise awareness for law enforcement regarding the sovereign citizen movement and how they may.
So what this is like back in the days, if you've watched some of my videos, you'll notice that they had cartoons and things of that nature. Also from the book that I just did a video on, Race Code War, that this is basically a call for their people. It's a lookout. Because again, let's state 1,000,001 times, 95% of law enforcement and individuals in the just us system are Caucasian. If you see someone getting pulled over, 95% of those police officers will be Caucasian. If you see any police situation going on, 95% or at least 90% will be Caucasian. They're attempting to throw the little specks in there, but specks meaning anyone of melanin. So that could be Chinese, Spanish, Black, African, listen, I'm not with the semantics on the words, but whatever you identify as, that's what I mean. So again, 90% Caucasian, the other 10% speckled around with different other races. I say people of melanin, but some people think it's different. So again, it's your preference. But in order to understand sovereign citizen, you have to understand COINTELPRO. You have to understand race wars or race massacres. You have to understand the Race Code War book. You have to understand the Trail of Tears. You have to understand the gasoline baths at the U.S. border. You have to understand how white supremacy took over the U.S. laws. You must understand all of that.
Impact us. Sovereign citizen is a catch-all phrase used to describe a variety of anti-government groups and individuals who share a common belief that our United States government, including our court system and law enforcement, is a fraud and they are exempt from our authority.
That's what it is. They're telling you exactly what it is. Our U.S. system. We know that all Caucasians created the Constitution, signed on to it, whatever you want to say. I made a specific video that they took over the U.S. laws, even though, yes, we fought, we went to war, we did all of that. And the KKK greeted the melanated men when they got back with racial slurs and fights. How many videos and pictures do you see of Caucasians abusing melanated folk? You don't see no pictures and videos the other way around. If there are some, please send them to me. Please, I am begging anyone to send them to me. But I can guarantee if there is any, if possible, there are any videos or pictures, it wouldn't amount to the total that we would have for the vice versa.
To Georgia, where the streets outside a county courthouse were quiet again after a bloody shootout on its steps.
So now what they're trying to do is insinuate that anyone that questions the government or doesn't believe that the government is doing something right, that they're against the government, they hate the government, and that they're a terrorist and they're trying to kill them and all this stuff. But it's okay for them to come and kill us and to bomb us. It's okay for them to do it. And when you bring it up everyone want to talk about how we can move forward. We're done moving forward. We've already tried to move forward several times. Civil rights movements, all types of bills and acts and things passed, we have agreed upon to try and help that situation. We should not be begging for anything. No one gave you all this land. No one gave the Caucasians this land. The Creator didn't. I mean, it's obvious because sun is on Earth.
Just before lunch, this was the sound of the gunfight outside the Forsyth County Courthouse north of Atlanta, recorded on a cell phone by an eyewitness. Police say that Dennis Marks, a self-described anti-government...
What they are really saying is, do you stand under our authority? Oops-a-daisy, you just created a verbal contract with them. Oh, you clever government.
The rhetoric of a sovereign is very important from an officer safety standpoint. You'll hear a lot that I'm a free man of the land.
I am protected by the land. Do not tell me to shut up. I am the living natural man, and my voice will be heard.
They will ask you, what is the reason for stopping me?
I'm asking you again, what am I being pulled over for? What am I being stopped for? Am I being detained?
You have, I am traveling, I am not driving, I do not.
So what you got to understand is that if you don't understand, first of all, if you don't overstand, a word that I definitely used to frequent, if you don't overstand everything that I've been mentioning, that all my videos are about, then you're not going to overstand what's happening here. So let's go look at something. Okay, first let's start with this. So these are supposedly the human rights. And this is from the UnitedNations.org page. So yeah, these are the articles. And the first one states that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. Everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration without distinction of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. No one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all their forms. No one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment or punishment. Everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. Now, to my good people that knows these things, we would have something to say about that one. If you aren't sure about what I mean, that means you need to be taking my courses. So all are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law. All are entitled to equal protection against any discrimination in violation of this declaration and against any incitement to such discrimination. Everyone has the right to an effective remedy by the competent national tribunals for acts violating the fundamental rights granted him by the Constitution or by law. No one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention, or exile. Everyone is entitled in full equality to a fair and public hearing. Okay, so yeah, if you want to go read the rest of those, there's a few more. Well, geez, there's a lot more. Let me do this. So now let me take you one other place. Hold on. Okay, so now we're here. So this is the Constitution. Right, privileges, and franchise secured power of legislation to dispense with primary elections in certain cases. Trial by jury, how waived. Freedom of worship. religious liberty, habeas corpus, bail fines, punishments, detention of witness, grand jury protection of certain enumerated rights, duty of public. Okay, so again, you guys can go and read through these if you want to. But the whole matter is to understand the overall before you start breaking down. And again, in my courses, that's what I do. I teach the simplicity in simplicity for you to understand in simplicity. So, what is this saying? This is saying that these rights, the last one and this one, is supposed to be over everything. Right? Because human rights are international and state rights come before federal, well, state laws come before, or rules, codes, regulations, statutes, whatever, supposedly come before federal because, yeah, well, I'll do another video of that later. But, so now what they want you to believe is that when you're getting pulled over for a traffic violation, which is not a law, it's a code, it's a rule. If it was a law, it wouldn't be able to be different in different areas. A law is equal and the same everywhere. So when you're getting pulled over for these traffic codes, they want to be able to take your rights. Telling you you have to incriminate yourself by producing documents. Now they've become judge and jury by executing people who do not provide those documents. Instead of us going to court and fighting it there, we no longer have that choice. We either do what they say or we die. And if that's not getting you upset, if that's not getting you to start doing what it is you need to do, then I don't know what to tell you. But this is what it is that we can utilize that they've created. So that was just a little, I'm probably going to have to do a part 2 because this one is running a bit over. But I'm hoping that you guys get a little bit more understanding of this whole sovereign citizen idea, thing, name, group, movement, Caucasian created idea for anyone that's challenging or questioning these Caucasians that created this racist system. It's already been proven over and over again that it's a racist system. So sovereign citizens is a code name because they're telling you sovereign citizens are people that are against the government. Anyone that would be against the government is anyone that doesn't benefit from it. The only people that don't benefit from it are anyone of melanin. All Caucasians benefit from it. In some way, shape, or form, they benefit. Whether poor or rich, they benefit. But then go check out my video, my last video that explains what the word rich means or incorporates or is the idea of. Well, until next time, guys, thanks for watching.